Kia ora. Well, it has been a fairly wet story around the eastern parts of New Zealand for the last few days. The good news is that low pressure system is moving away and things are easing off quite nicely as we head through the rest of today for Thursday. There is still a severe weather watch for the Wairoa district, but you can see as we go through the daytime, this low pressure pulls away and these showers should start to lessen as we head through the daytime as well. So for the rest of, say, Hawke's Bay, south of the Wairoa district and in towards, say, the Taurua district, things are looking much better. Still some showers through there, but generally things are improving. Elsewhere, we are going to find some clearer slots across parts of Auckland, Northland, Bay of Plenty. Watching out for a few showers running through towards those western sides, and we're going to keep an eye down towards the south. That's where our next lot of weather arrives as we head in towards the next few days. But we have still got that watch out for the far northern parts of Hawke's Bay up towards the Wairoa district through to about 8 p.m. today. With some of those heavier showers still possible, there will still be showers as we go through towards Friday, but much to a lesser extent. So it's worth saying that things are looking much better, but we have still got that watch just as we head through the rest of the daytime today. As we go through the night, you can see that low pressure continues to keep more cloud around the eastern coast. Still with this southwesterly feed of air, we'll find showers moving in towards Northland and Auckland, particularly on those coasts that face down towards the south and the west. And we'll keep more cloud forming towards places like southern Taranaki, across towards Manawatu, and up in towards some of the valleys towards places like Taumarunui. We'll stay quite cloudy and foggy for the North Island. For the South Island, it's this next front that runs up from the south. Now ahead of that, a fair covering of cloud through Southland and Otago. You can see there's some clearer spots even up through Canterbury, Marlborough and Nelson before that cloud arrives later in the night and in towards the early hours of Friday morning. Beneath those clearer skies, it will be fairly chilly. Temperatures back down towards freezing, so a cold and perhaps even frosty start today in places like Canterbury, especially where you keep hold of some lighter winds. Even on the North Island, though, we'll find our temperatures are fairly cool, especially compared to those very mild nights we had at the start of the week. Temperatures back down to about 3 degrees Celsius, places like the Central Plateau, Taupo, Rotorua, a bit of a chilly morning for you as well. As we head through Friday, that front continues to move northwards, brings more cloud in towards Canterbury, some spells of rain through there. You can see we have a fair number of showers pushing on towards that western side of the North Island, up in towards parts of, say, Northern, particularly towards those western coasts, but around the Taranaki region and also up towards Auckland. Those showers arriving as we head through and towards the afternoon, particularly looking like most showers there. For places like the Coromandel, Bay of Plenty, and even this eastern side of Northland, eastern side of the North Island, I should say, we are going to find, with the winds now being more southwesterly, there's a bit more protection for you, so some better, brighter, sunnier weather, and importantly, drier weather as well. But these southwesterly winds will be bringing more showers in towards Fiordland and Southland, around in towards the likes of, say, Clutha and Dunedin, and accompanying that, some strong southwesterly winds, and that's going to be a feature as we head on in towards the weekend as well. So for the North Island, we'll find the best of the weather up through places like the Coromandel and the Bay of Plenty. There's some drier weather around this eastern coast, still a few showers perhaps skirting the likes of Mahia to start the day, but most of our shower activity around this western coast and feeding through towards Auckland and Northland in towards the afternoon. So a few more showers just pushing through there. We'll also find some showers that's springing up across the Central Plateau as we head in towards the afternoon. But generally there's more dry weather the further out towards the north and the east you are. So I think there are some better, brighter weather for places like Tauranga and some longer spells of sunshine as well. For places like Wellington, just watching out for a touch more cloud, perhaps a chance for an odd shower but later on. But I think most of the time it is looking like a dry day. In terms of our temperatures, up in towards Auckland, 16 degrees Celsius. A cooler feeling day though as we head down towards Wellington, 12 degrees Celsius. That's similarly up towards Palmerston North, 12s and 13s that's through there as well. But another cold night as we head in towards the early hours of Saturday morning, with temperatures back down about 2 or 3 degrees Celsius through those central areas, and even out on the eastern coast. 3 degrees Celsius the minimum temperature for places like Napier as we head in towards the early hours of Saturday. So a cold night for you, but a drier and clearer one. For the South Island, it's a case of watching that front moving north as it will bring some rain for a time. You can see there's little bits of snow right at the tops of the mountains. Not really like to cause too many issues for many of us, but I think it will be an indication of that cold air moving northwards. The cloud feeds in towards Canterbury as well. We can find some spells of patchy rain. There are a few showers that make their way mainly north of Westport up in towards Bulla and those western parts of the Tasman district, Nelson, as we go through the afternoon, evening. But I think most of the showers, once we see that initial burst clear through, will be down in the south, driven on by those southwesterly winds through Fiordland and Southland, making it feel fairly cold as well, with those winds really ramping up through the weekend. In terms of our top temperatures, we're looking at our top temperatures in places like Invercargill and Dunedin, struggling to get out of double figures, struggling to get into double figures. 9 degrees Celsius our top temperature through those areas. And you can see a cold start today in Canterbury, highs of 10 degrees Celsius for you, but some of the best temperatures out on that western coast, with places like Hokitika and Greymouth reaching highs of 14 degrees Celsius. As we head in towards the weekend, those southwesterly winds will be sticking with us, which means a lot of the cloud and showers will be around those coasts that are exposed to the south and the west. So places like, say, the Bear Plenty, the east coast of the Northland, and even the east coast of the Southland, doing pretty well as we head through the next few days in terms of drier, brighter weather. There's more cloud around those western-facing coasts, and we'll find a good scattering of showers down the south as well, being driven on by some pretty decent winds. Those winds really picking up strong, even perhaps gale force around the coastal areas of Dunedin and Southland as we head through towards the end of the day on Saturday. That's going to make it feel very cold indeed. In fact, many of us, I think, will find our temperatures back down towards or even just below average as we head through the next few days. And with that wind as well, do consider the impact of wind chill. For Sunday, well, it's a similar story. Those stronger southwesterly winds sticking with us, more cloud being pushed on towards those southern and western facing coasts. Some showers through Westland and down in the far south as well. Might catch an odd one on the North Island, but much lesser affair up on that North Island there. But I think we are going to find the best of weather over the next few days in those areas protected by the mountains, places like the Bear Plenty, the Coromandel, and thankfully the east coast looking a little bit drier over the next few days as well. These southwesterly winds, though, will also be driving a fair amount of swell up our coast as we head through towards the weekend. Those wave heights lifting up to around about 6 metres around those coastal areas of, say, Canterbury by Saturday, by Sunday, even up in towards parts of, say, the southern parts of the North Island. So worth keeping a close eye on those coastal conditions. These waves will also have fairly large swell periods, up to around about 9 or even 12 seconds or so as we go through and towards the weekend, bringing a large amount of energy around our coastal areas. So do keep a very close eye on the forecast and plan your coastal activities accordingly. And that's it from me. There's more at metservice.com.